Hey, what's up? This is Scott with the Android Guys podcast. I'm sitting here today with Luke. Hey, Luke.
Hello.
So, if you subscribe to our podcast, it's been a long time since we produced anything. It's been about a year and a half, roughly. The last time we really kind of did the show, it was more of like a season of educational things, kind of evergreen in nature, to kind of educate listeners, readers on topics such as what is Android One, Android Go, what is an MVNO, things like that. So they were kind of educational, kind of, you could pick them up, listen to them really any time of the year. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to do some, I guess you would call them product reviews.
Yeah.
But in a podcast format. So we'll see how this works and see how it translates to, spoken word and people not actually seeing it. But the plan is to embed video online, YouTube, and in the articles so that people can see the things that we're talking about. But really, this is just kind of a way for people who might be at work, on a commute or bike ride, doing anything, and just kind of want to find out about some of the things that we're testing, that we're reviewing, and kind of open up the dam a little bit to allow for us to maybe spend more time with more products. Mm-hmm. So, Luke, you've got a couple of things that you played with this last week or so, and I've got a few. You want to jump right in?
Sure.
Cool. So, I'll go first. I have, you can't see it here if you're listening, of course, but I have the iLive Tailgate Bluetooth speaker. This one, it's about $70. You can find it on iLive Electronics website. We've reviewed some of their stuff before. They're not too bad. I like them. I don't find them to be anything where, it's a premium audio or, I wouldn't necessarily consider them for, hey, I need to find something that's really loud, that's going to last a long time on a charge, But more of if somebody says, hey, I'm looking for something, I don't have a ton of money to spend. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for something that's going to be decent, flexible. What do you recommend for that? So this guy here, it's not too bad. And actually that makes it sound bad by saying that, but it's a tailgate speaker. So you would think this is something that you would take outside. You would put on the bed of a truck. You would maybe get out for a barbecue, put in a parking lot, before the pandemic.
Right.
Maybe later, a year from now. But, this is the kind of speaker that, I would have I had assumed that it would be weather resistant. Mm-hmm. And it's not. Mm. So it's got a nice hard plastic shell to it so that if it does get wet or somebody, tips it over, it falls off the bed or, gets knocked over on its side in the parking lot, it's going to be okay. It's got a nice plastic shell, but it is not waterproof. It looks like you can wipe it down pretty easily. But yeah, so it's for $70, I would definitely recommend it. It's not just a Bluetooth speaker. You can also, plug in, just like a lot of speakers, you can plug in through the 3.5 or 3.5 millimeter auxiliary input. It also has micro SD, so if you have music on that, you can plug it in directly. And then you also have an FM radio, which is kind of nice. You don't find that on a lot of Bluetooth speakers.
No, not really anymore.
So that, I think, is worth, consideration. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for something where you're like, I don't want to pair anything to it, I just want to break it out and listen to the pregame on the radio. Instead of casting a radio station to that, you can just tune directly in. So that's kind of a nice feature.
It also has lighting effects too, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you see on the box is this, color kind of glowing from the speaker. Mm-hmm. There's one central speaker. It's an 8-inch, I guess you consider it a full range speaker. So everything comes out of the one. Mm-hmm. The box does show the color, and you see that as soon as you turn it on, it kind of lights up, and it'll go through a couple of different modes that you can do to kind of dance to your music or just kind of provide some atmosphere.
Right.
It You don't have to have the light on, so you can toggle that, and that will impact, of course, battery life. Maybe negligible, but
Sure.
of course, if you always have it doing things like that. Sound is okay. The box shows like bring the bass or something like that on there. It's not overly powering.
Right.
First thing I did was try to throw different types of music at it just to see how it plays. It's pretty even. I don't want to call it flat, but nothing really punches you.
Right.
So it's not like bass is hitting you in the head. It's not like you have really sharp highs that are bothering you. It's pretty even. I think it's a good speaker. It's a decent sound. There's a handle on it. If you look on the back here, there's a handle you can kind of pull out like luggage. So if you wanted to kind of like if you're wheeling that from a car to a place in the park, you can kind of pull that out. Retractable handle. There's a couple of small wheels on the back. It's super light. I don't.
Yeah, is it heavy enough to warrant wheels?
Nah, no. I don't want to call it a gimmick. I don't think they're trying to sell it around anything like that. But I look at it like almost unnecessary. It's really pretty light compared to there are other speakers much smaller that are much heavier. So it's light, and it has a handle built into it, kind of perpendicular to the retractable one. So you just grab it and go.
Sure. It's
super light. But if you wanted to kind of pull that out, and maybe if you had to like strap a couple of blankets to it,
right, sure,
or you had, depending on what you're trying to carry, it might be easier to pull behind.
I could see that.
Micro USB charge.
Yeah, that seems like a swing and a miss.
Yeah, it makes it takes a while to charge. It's 4 hours from 0 to 100%.
Sure.
Now, that doesn't sound too bad, but playtime, you're getting about 6 hours at 50% volume.
So you got to charge it almost as long as it lasts.
Yeah, like 75%, 66%.
Sure.
But I would have liked to have seen USB-C or something faster than what you have here. Now, the plus side is you have a lot of these cables laying around the house. You've got them pretty much anywhere. Car chargers, a lot of the older ones still have those on there.
Right.
So you can charge that thing while you're on the way, to the game or whatever. But it's just not one of those things that, oh man, I forgot we were having our picnic is in 2 hours. You're not going to have a...
Where's my micro USB cord?
Right, and you only have 2 hours. You're not really going to charge it up all the way. So then you're looking at, 3 hours?
Sure.
And that might be plenty for that particular activity, but something to keep in mind.
I imagine that keeps the price point down, though, because it's fairly affordable.
Yeah, it's still one of those things where, there's so many of those ports out there that, it's the volume to find them, to get a hold of them. And there's a lot of companies still have those, so you don't have to necessarily adopt new technology.
Keeping the manufacturing costs down.
Yeah. So, again, that's the iLive tailgate speaker or Bluetooth tailgate speaker. It's about $70. If you go on their website, you can check it out and order directly from them. So, over to you.
Yeah, so I looked at a couple things this week. The first up is the Ivanki 7-in-1 hub. It is your standard USB hub. So it takes a USB-C plug into your computer, and it creates multiple other points to be able to use off of your laptop. It has a 2 USB-A ports, an SD card, a micro SD card reader, an RJ45 port for if you need wired access and don't have that on your laptop. Most laptops now, I'm thinking of a Surface or a Chromebook or something like that.
Right.
You don't have anything like that. And a lot of, if you're traveling, I know some hotels still don't have in-room Wi-Fi. They got the hard line, so that might help in those situations.
Sure.
It's pretty standard anymore, that wireless, but in those rare occasions. But then also you have your SD card readers and your extra USB ports. It just kind of handles everything for you. And it's a nice metal design. It's got an HDMI port too. Mm-hmm. So if you need any sort of media control for like a presentation, it'll do that for you. But it's a nice metal design, short little cable. That you don't have a big long cable sitting around in your bag.
Right. Well, and I mean the whole thing looks like it's only, about the size of a pack of Kit Kat candy bars or something.
Yeah, it's definitely maybe half the size of a device of a phone.
Right. Well, a lot of Chromebooks today are just like USB-C.
Yeah.
Or they don't have, a USB-A port or a card reader, of course. So there's a lot of it's great to have these new devices, but then there's still that transitional period of, wait, I still have this mouse that I want to plug in a Bluetooth receiver or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and this will expand it so you can have the freedom to do all of that without taking up precious ports that you need for other things. The little icon, it has a little icon that lights up to let you know when it's connected. Not really a needed feature, but a nice feature to have, just so you know if it's for sure connected.
Sure.
But yeah, it's nothing revolutionary, but it's well made and seems to do the job, well.
So how much is something like that?
So this is $37.99 on Amazon.
Okay.
And it has a 54-month warranty.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So that's probably 4.5 years.
Yeah, there's probably some lawyer speak of why that is, but I couldn't comprehend why.
Okay. Well, it's better. A lot of stuff is 1 year, 90 days. You're lucky sometimes to get into 2 years. So if they're going to stand behind it for that long,
yeah.
And I also see on here there's a PD power delivery, so you could plug in and charge your device through that if you needed to get. And what's the speed on that? It looks like up to 100 watts.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So that's crazy. That's fast. That's a pretty cool device. And what's nice is it looks like you could throw it in a backpack without even realizing it's there.
Right. It's light too.
Yeah.
Even though it's a metal casing, it's not heavy.
Nice.
So.
Right on. All right, so let's go back to me. My other item that I had this week was the Mophie 4-in-1 wireless charging mat. So Mophie, they've been around for years. One of my favorite names in the portable charger, portable power bank space. They always make a quality product. And having the opportunity to review a lot of these products, they tend to find their way into somebody else's hands after a while.
Right.
Because how many am I going to have?
Sure.
So, but Mophie is one of those brands where nobody gets them. I have a whole bunch of them, but they don't leave my possession. So I was excited to check this out, and it's another win from them. Their products are, when you look at them price-wise, they are a little more pricier, but I think with that you're getting a quality product every time out, and this was no surprise to me. This is not a portable charger. This is something that you plug in to the wall, and it's a platter. So a lot of people in their house, have a spouse or kids, or in a work environment, you've got multiple people in a small space. A lot of people have wireless charging capabilities in their phones. Even in now their wireless earbuds, watches, and things like that. So this is a 4-in-1 platter that you can kind of decide, if you wanted to put, this one's mine, this one's yours, you can drop your phone on there and charge them up. Each one is up to 10 watts, so not crazy fast, but that's faster than what some of the old wired charging standard used to be.
Yeah.
And when you think of it from the standpoint of, I'm at work, I don't necessarily need to have this thing charging super fast. It's just going to be here all day. I'm just going to put it down and let it charge up while I'm sitting here. So I like wireless charging as a technology. My only thing is, for me, when I lay in bed at night, I'm just as bad as I think a lot of people listening is I still play on my phone.
Sure.
you can't wirelessly charge your phone while you're in bed.
Right.
So you kind of, you grab it off the charger and you're looking at it instead of plugging in and being able to kind of, so this doesn't solve that.
Sure.
But you do have a USB-A charge port coming off of this.
Ah,
so
okay.
if you plugged in, you had an outlet that you would use to plug in your phone, and then you said, well, I'm going to actually replace that with this wireless platter, you can still plug your other cord into it.
Sure.
So if you wanted to, you can do that, which essentially turns it into a 5-in-1.
Yeah.
But this is, billed as a 4-in-1 device. And it's got fabric on it. It has like this, it looks like Mophie. It looks like something that they would, design. It doesn't look, and it's kind of nice because it fits just about any decor.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a soft charcoal color that looks right at home. It doesn't draw too much attention to it.
Right.
Pretty flexible. And there also is an adapter on here. If you have an Apple Watch, you want to plug in, or you want to charge off of the back of that, there's an accessory you can kind of snap into place to do that.
On it, yeah.
Like a little cradle. So you can find this guy pretty much any of your major carriers. If you go to Verizon stores, if stores are open,
Sure.
Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and then it's also in retail stores like Target, Best Buy, and then of course on Mophie's website you could pick it up. But you're looking at about $150 for this guy.
Okay. Well, that's not bad considering everything it does, and it's Mophie, like you said. You have the design aesthetic, you have the look, you have the feel. The fabric is really soft.
Right.
It's good stuff.
Well, and if you're gonna drop, let's just say $20 to $50 on a wireless charger, depending on brand, at 4 of those, you're gonna be at around $150.
Yep.
This is nice because it's one,
Yeah,
and
you don't have to have 4 cords going
Exactly.
in. You don't have to have a extender for your outlet to plug in for wireless chargers.
Yeah. So it's kind of I didn't necessarily need this, but I've already found a couple places where I think it's going to end up.
Sure.
At home where, my wife, my son, all 3 of our phones have wireless charging capability. So there's a place where I think, at dinner, when everybody puts their phone down, let's just all throw them on the charger.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's it for me. I just had the 2 things to talk about today. What about you?
I got one more.
All right.
The August lock. It's the August Wi-Fi lock. And what this is a lock that goes on your deadbolt. So you can use any existing deadbolt on your house, and it replaces the inside turn mechanism. So you keep your outside with your key and everything, and then this just is a replacement for the inside, and it gives you remote access to unlock and lock your deadbolt.
Okay.
Very, very simple to install. Really good instructions on how to install it. Came with all kinds of adapters for different deadbolt types.
Okay.
It took me, all in all, about 5 minutes. I mean, I'm pretty handy, but it took me about 5 minutes to install it, and then go through the setup process to set it up with my Wi-Fi. Was very simple. The one thing that, this has kind of been the standard for things the last couple years, and I think we're slowly getting away from it, but not quick enough for my liking, is it still runs on 2.4 gig Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Which is I understand because more people have, right? But it's a little annoying to have to connect to that. In your house, most people are connecting to a 5G network on their Wi-Fi. It still works. It bridges in the app, so it'll connect to your 2.4 gig, and you can still access it from the app even if you're on your 5G Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But it's a little. It took a couple tries to connect, just because that signal is not as reliable as the 5G.
Gotcha.
Other than that, was no problem. It took me, I think, altogether about 15 minutes to get it installed. It has DoorSense technology, which you can set it up with Google Assistant and Alexa and HomeKit, and it'll auto unlock if you're in range. If you're in geo range, it'll auto unlock when you get home. It'll auto lock after 30 minutes.
So from the outside, it can detect you
Yep.
to unlock.
Yep.
But if I come to your house, I'll still need the same key.
Correct.
That your house needs.
But I also can set you up a guest key in the app and send you an invite, and then you can access it on your device.
Okay.
And unlock it, and then I can get notifications based on who unlocks the door of who. I can get a notification. Hey, Scott used his code to unlock your front door.
So if I'm coming over to kind of take care of your dog while you're
Sure.
out of town, you know when I got there.
Yep.
Nice.
And I know who it was.
Gotcha.
So that's a cool feature. It has a chime that you can turn on and off every time it's locked or unlocked, so that you can know if for some reason, I accidentally hit that in my pocket, or maybe the kids are playing with it and they unlock it, and it'll auto lock after 30 minutes. It's got a 1, 2, or 3 year warranty. You can purchase extra, and those are 26, 46, and 70 respectively.
Okay.
It is $249 retail. You can get it from August's website.
Now, August is a brand that's been in the lock game for years.
A while, yeah, and it's quality. It's very sleek. It looks really nice. The turn, it's just a big radial knob to turn and unlock. It's actually easier to unlock than the original deadbolt I had.
Oh, so you dial it kind of like a Nest thermostat.
Yeah,
you just turn it.
Feels very nice. It feels high tech.
Nice.
And yeah, so far so good. I've been messing with it for a week or so now, and I don't know if I necessarily needed it, because I still have a lock on my actual door handle.
Sure.
So I don't, we don't really feel comfortable leaving that unlocked.
Right.
I don't know why you ever would if you have 2 locks. Most people have a deadbolt because they want extra security, not just the deadbolt security.
Right.
So it doesn't really, it's not as hands-free as the dream is to, be able to walk, carrying groceries in your house, and you walk up to your door and you can just push the handle and go in.
And then locks behind you.
Right.
And, yeah.
It will do that, but you have to leave your door handle unlocked for that to work.
Gotcha.
Which, for some people is a problem.
Right.
Other than that, though, I have been pleasantly surprised with it.
Nice. And that's the August, what's it called?
The August Wi-Fi door lock.
Gotcha. I lied earlier when I told you I had nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. What do you got?
So I think you saw it here at the office, the Cielo Breeze Plus.
Yeah.
So this was sent to us from the folks at Cielo that, we got out of the summer season of hot air and air conditioning. This is a device that basically you connect it to air conditioners that might hang on a wall, and and I'll kind of tell you where I use this.
Okay.
My buddy has a shed that he has built and has continued to kind of improve upon. He's got TVs out there, the idea of like a man cave or something.
Sure.
But so it's kind of like that. But he had one of these air conditioners installed, and it comes with a remote, so he can kind of adjust the temperature on the fly as he needs to. But what this does, it's an accessory. You plug it in, and you pair it to an app, and you will kind of go through a quick setup process of pointing the remote control at this thing like an IR, it picks up a signal. It's kind of like programming a
universal remote.
Exactly.
Sure.
So you do that. You press it once. It registers. The whole process takes just a couple of minutes. And so basically, his air conditioning unit also provides heat, but it's kind of sold around the idea of air conditioning. But this little guy, the Cielo, it's called the Breeze Plus, you can mount it on a wall. It comes with a kit, and then also comes with like a desktop stand, so that you can look over and see what the temperature is. You can see the cycle that it's on, whether it's heat or cold. You can also see the humidity in the air, and you can control that using your phone instead of his remote.
Nice.
So that's a nice added feature. He can leave the remote alone. But then what's really nice is you can go into the app and start to create routines and schedules. And so if he knows on Saturdays I go out there to watch football, he doesn't have to go out in the morning and start the heat.
Right.
He can actually just set a schedule so at 9 a.m. it starts to warm up the shed.
Nice.
So yeah, you can switch it, on the fly from heat to cool. We're at that point of year where some days it's hot, some days it's kind of pretty chilly. But yeah, so this guy is about $110. I set it up at his place. He's been using it, loves it.
Great.
We also immediately set up Google Home Assistant.
So it does work with this.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So he can control it from inside his house. He can just prompt a speaker to start the heat or to set the thermostat or set the temp. Yeah. So that was a big win for him. Is the remote's not going to reach that far.
Right.
The app is okay if you need to pull it out, but just to be able to say as you're getting ready, hey, I don't want to say here because all these speakers will chime on, but turn on the heat, set it to 70 degrees. Yeah. And so he added it to a room right away and started playing with the configuration. So that's a really cool little device.
Right.
You can learn more about that. That's Cielo, Cielo, called the Breeze Plus. They're about $110. And I don't have a particular need for it, but I could see how when I talked to him about it, he was enamored. Right. He was like, I didn't think when I bought this thing that I should have considered a different model that had Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, or I didn't know if there were smart versions of these. He just had, but this really smartens it up quite a bit.
Well, and I mean, just looking at room air conditioners, we got one for our upstairs, and the price point for a basic one with a remote to a smart one that has HomeKit capabilities or assistant capabilities is more. It seems like more than even that $110.
Exactly.
So if it lets you get a lower priced model without some of those features, and then you can add those features on, smart features, without having to get the unit that does it all in one.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah. So that is officially it for me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I'm done. So yeah, this is something that we plan to do weekly. Yeah. We've got a constant influx of products that come in here to the office, and we try to write as many reviews as we can, and we try to say yes to as many things that are offered to us, but we just can't keep up with it. Yep. So our hope is that by doing it this way, we're kind of able to provide extra, we're able to be in other places than just, of course, written reviews, so that we'll provide this as a podcast, and then ultimately we will pair this audio up with footage of these products, pictures that we've taken, so that you can kind of see what we're talking about, and maybe learn some more about where to go to buy them and links to buy them, of course. So I think we'll be back in about a week.
Sounds good.
All right. See you guys.